Good morning and welcome to today's episode in the Salon Owners Social Media Marketing Group. I am loving today because I actually get to see this man's face again. We speak pretty much most days, but I haven't got to see his face for such a long time. So hello, Ken. Welcome to the show today. How are you?
Hello, Treasure.
Hello.
I'm great. I feel the same. It's ridiculous. All these people that we're used to working with, all these people that we love dearly, and you can't see them. It just drives me nuts. You've known me for years, Jen. You know, I'm one of those sort of people that has to see people, hug people. It's just the way we are in 365. And I'm just, it's like this, and it's really weird. Yeah, we talk all the time, which is great. So it's kind of nice to see you, but it'd be nice to have a hug, wouldn't it?
I know, it's a virtual hug.
I saw my son the other day, and his wife, and I'm saying goodbye to him and hello to him, and I'm not supposed to hug him.
No.
I'm thinking, how do I do this? How can I not hug my own son? But you can't, and it's crackers. I'll tell you what I've got, because Christmas is coming up, and I'm thinking, I've got a daughter in Germany, or Jane's daughter in Germany. We've got a granddaughter in Germany, and then I've got my son and his wife, and I'm thinking, what if we can't see them at Christmas? What if you can only have 2 other people in the garden, or what? 6? So I've bought a gazebo with sides. It's in the garden. It's 9 square meters. It's big enough for a table. So if necessary, we are having Christmas dinner in a tent in the garden so that we can comply with it. I'm just thinking, it's not going to beat me. If they say I can have 6 people in my garden, which they might do, I don't know. I'm thinking, if I leave this to the end, then I won't be able to get one of these things. And actually, I went online, and most of the sites were already sold out.
Yeah,
it's fab thing, and actually it's really good because it's brilliant, lovely. So I've got a plan B for Christmas. Yeah, don't let them.
Is there room for a small one?
Absolutely, Jen.
I might have to bring Ellie with me, but
I didn't think you come alone.
So for those of you that don't know Ken, because we've had so many new people join in the last week or so welcome, and thank you all for spending your time here with us. For those of you that don't know Ken is my business dad. If you know my story, if you've listened to my story before, I nearly lost my business, and when that happened, I took sanctuary in a company called 365 Salon Education. And at that point, I was very nervous, very scared. I didn't know a single thing about business or numbers or
nothing.
Ken was like I'll never forget it. He was doing this presentation in front of me, and I was like this the whole time. What's an average bill? What's this? What's that? What's a stylist income forecast? What's a spreadsheet? I don't know what any of this is. And he, bless his heart, took me aside afterwards and kind of went, it's cool. We'll help you. And true to their word, they did. I spent 2 years doing the BB courses and turned my business around. And so therefore, I've become a massive, massive advocate of 365 because it helped me in my business. And I just love seeing people come through that are either coming to 365 or inspiration or desperation. For me, it was desperation, 100%. I was nearly about to lose everything, and just love seeing the businesses turn around and really get some momentum behind them, and for those salon owners to really start living the dream that they had when they opened their doors. So welcome to Ken. He is an absolute gem to 365. And if you ever get the chance to come on one of our training days, or you just honestly stacks of paper, because you'll be like this, mouth open and really taking it all in. So I want to say a massive thank you, actually, Ken. It's got to be a bit emotional this morning.
It's nice, Jen. But what people need to realise is that, and you've told your story, and you know my story. I joined 365 nearly 30 years ago, when I had 3 salons, and one of them was really, really struggling. And I realized, and I've told this story over and over again, but it's so true, and so many people can relate to it. I realized that I'd learned to be a hairdresser, but no one had taught me how to be a businessman. And as I grew and started employing people and wanted to expand and expanded, I realized there was stuff that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And someone pointed me towards 365, and I came along just like you to the same course that you went on, to find out what 365 did. And I sat there at the same thing thinking, oh, I don't know this, I don't know that. I'm not sure I was quite as green as you, but I think I knew a bit more because I'm a little bit better at maths than you, and I can spell better than you. But it's the same thing. So I went through the process, and of course I then went on to to coach for 365, and now I'm in this wonderful position where I'm director of 365, and I absolutely love it. But you and I never forget where we were, because I think if you forget where you were, then it's hard to help people. So when people come to me, like yourself, when I met you that first day and you didn't understand all these things, I knew exactly how you felt. And I think it's really important that if any coach, like the people that work with you, they need to know your background, because they need to know that you absolutely can understand where they are. And the challenge with working with a lot of people out there in the industry is that they might say they understand, they might say they don't know, but they don't necessarily have ever stood in your shoes and understand exactly how it feels when you're floundering, when you're lost, when you don't know which way to turn. One of our new members only recently sent me a letter, and if letters could cry, this tears would be coming out of this letter. She said, I don't know where to start. I've told my team about this and they don't want to know. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. Our consultations are rubbish. I'm scared of doing this. I'm scared of putting my prices up. All these things. And so basically what she's realizing is the fact that the problem is her, because you and I know, and you've been through this, you've done this. There's stages as you grow your business where you have to grow some. And sometimes you have to lose people, and sometimes you have to move on. And when you get to that moment where you go, I think the problem's me, then tears come out of the letter. Yeah. But the great thing about getting to that point where you go, I realize it's me, you then realize if it's me, I can fix it. If I'm the problem, I can fix it. If it's stuff that I don't know, I can learn it. If it's a skill I don't have, I can get it. I just need to find out where I can find this out from. And that's what you and I did. We came to 365, and as and I now work for 365. But we went to people that we knew could help us, because all we coach in 365 is hairdressers, and there are so many other coaches out there that coach different people. But they don't understand the minds of a hairdresser. And sometimes the people I work with, there's people I work with that are very systems and orientated, and I go, yeah, but you don't understand the mind of a hairdresser. No. You and I were talking today. Let's be honest, we were talking today. We've had an amazing, actually talking about lockdown, we have had some of the biggest numbers on courses we've had for years during lockdown. We had over 50 stylists on a course on Monday this week. And you and I are doing a course this afternoon with, I think, something like 27, 28 salons, let alone the number of people that are going to be watching it. And you and I were talking about this earlier on. One of my colleagues sends out emails to people like a week ahead and thinks they're going to remember them. And of course, hairdressers don't, do we? It's just this chip wrapper. So I send you an email yesterday. You don't even know where that is today. So we have to understand how hairdressers' minds work, because hairdressers are creative people. They're not necessarily number smart. They're not necessarily word smart. They're not necessarily business people. What I've learned over the years, and sometimes people say to me, oh, it's okay for you, Ken. You're good at maths. You're good at this. You're good at that. I wasn't. I'm a 3 GCS, three O levels and a GCSE man. Me, that's it. And most of you don't even know what that is, right?
I don't even know GCSE.
No. Okay. So I was there. I'm off the screen. I was down here. I was certainly not up there. But what I've done is get up there in the industry that I love. So yeah. I love looking at the numbers of the salon. I love understanding what goes on in the salon, because I know that when our members, and we did this with you, Jen, you know that, I know, and you know, that I can look at the numbers of your salon and tell you what you need to do. I don't need to know the people, because it's facts you need to look at. And the challenge with hairdressers is we're too emotional. So when we've got the donut that works for us, and I'm sure, I mean, I can't see, if we could see all our delegates today, Jen, you know that me saying, when we get the donut that worked for us, they're all going, yeah, I've had a donut. Yeah, I've got a donut. The challenge with us as hairdressers is we're too emotional, and we like the donut, and we love the donut, and we care about the donut, and we don't want to get rid of the donut. But we know that the best thing to do is get rid of the donut. And what I mean by that is the stylist that is constantly getting there.
Yeah.
You know, and you've had them a year, 2 years, and they're still getting there, and they don't know where there is, and you don't know where there is, and they're just plodding along. And I was doing something this week with some people, and I said, that's right. And I'm thinking what I was doing. I did a BB7, BB8, you know, the new BB7, BB8 Gen. I did that for the first time this week with some people that were graduating from our program. And I said that the trouble is, if you keep on with those people, what you forget is they're doing you harm.
Yeah.
Any customer that comes into our salon that goes away and doesn't come back, and listen carefully, is the complaint you never heard.
Yeah.
It's the silent complaint. And most salons ignore that. They forget about that. They just go, oh, but that person didn't come up. And you know, and we can talk more about this if you want, and they do nothing about it. What they don't realize is if someone comes into your business and they go to the donut, and the donut doesn't give them great service, that person goes out and they describe your business in terms of the donut. So they didn't get the right service, they didn't get the right quality of work, they didn't get whatever. And that's the message that they spread. And the sad thing about the British, because I'm not so sure it's the same in every country, but the sad thing about the British is we love to tell people about the poo. True? So we love to go out and go, well, I went there and it was rubbish. I went to that person, it was rubbish. But we very rarely go away and say, oh, guess what? I went somewhere and it was brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't understand what it is about the British. And yet we never complain when we're there. So we sit in a restaurant and we have a meal. And how many of you, and I'm watching you, Jen, because I can only see you, but how many of you have gone into a restaurant? Sorry, Jen, I'm taking over. I've gone in the restaurant and I'm having a meal, and the little man comes around and he goes, hello, sir, how are you? Is your food okay? And we go, yes, thank you, it's fine. And just before he came, we were both going, this is shite, isn't it? Don't like this. But the man comes up and says, is it fine? And we go, yeah, that's okay. And we kind of eat most of it and shuffle it around on the plate, and we pay at the end, and then we go away and then we moan about it. So that's the complaint you never heard, because if Jen now asked me about that restaurant, I go, well, I went there and it was rubbish, but I never told them that it was rubbish, so they can't improve it. Yeah. So firstly, I always think it's really important to complain in a nice way, just to let people know what you're not happy about, because then a business can correct it, feedback. But we need to understand as businesses that all those people that don't come back are silent complaints. So if you have someone in your team who isn't building, then if they're not building, they're damaging. Every new client that you put in their column that doesn't come back is a waste of all the marketing that Jen's taught you, all the skills that you've used to get them into your business. You've just let it out the hole in the bucket at the bottom. Sorry, Jen, I don't know how I got into that.
No, I loved it. And it's the hole in the bucket, isn't it? We coach that in 365. There's no point in pouring lots and lots of new clients in the top of the bucket through your marketing, and you know, it takes so much time and effort to get a new client in, and then they're falling out the bottom.
Yeah, Jen, I've got to stop you, because I've remembered where I started with all that, and then I went off there, like you know I do. What I wanted to say was, the great thing about Jen when she joined us, and this is what's really important, is that Jen, when she joined us, heard all this information. And this is where you've got a choice. You hear this information, you've got a choice. You can go over here and do absolutely nothing, or you can take that information and do something with it. And this is where Jen changed her business and got her business from, you'll remember the numbers, Jen, but something like, an average bill of what, 14, 15, 17 quid, up to an average income of 60, 70. Yeah. It's just mind blowing how Jen changed her business. But, and I mean this in the nicest way, Jen is lovely, amazing person, but and I mean this in the right way, Jen, she's no different to anyone else. She's just a human being. But if you ask Jen to do something and show Jen something that will improve her business or her life, she will do it.
Yeah.
That's the difference between Jen and other people, is that she's a doer. Yeah. She makes it happen and she does it. And well done for that, Jen. And Jen's done amazing things with her business. But anyone out there can do that. But we all sit there. You'll sit listening to me and Jen today. You'll sit listening to Jen on other days, and members of 365 will sit and listen to us. But they go away and do nothing, because they go, oh, that won't work for me. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, my team won't do that. Oh, my customers won't pay that. Oh, if I'd have said to you, those years ago that I met you, you'll be charging 70, 80 quid for a haircut, you've gone, don't be stupid, Ken.
Yeah.
And there you are. You're doing it now. So you can do it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sorry, Jen, I had to bring that back because I was
that's
cool. About you, and then I went off track.
But I think that takes us full circle back to the letter with the tears. When we've got members, and I'm going to be really honest here, it infuriates me, something chronic, when someone hasn't gone and done their homework, because I am a doer, and I'm like, why have you not done it? But it does bring us back full circle to the fact that it's them that is the problem.
Yeah.
The business isn't changing because they're not doing the doing.
Yeah, but they don't like to do that. I sent that person back a letter and I said, and this expression, tough love. I said this letter, and she's just joined us, so she got tough love straight away, Jen. It's a bit early, isn't it? But I said,
I did. Come on.
Well, yeah, I said, this is tough love. And what we mean by tough love is that I'm going to tell you something that you don't want to hear, and it might upset you. And it might hurt you, but I'm saying it with love. I'm saying it because.
It's your job.
Sorry?
It's your job to do that.
It is, absolutely. And I say, I'm saying it with love because I want you to grow. There's no point in you coming to me and then me going, oh, well, you don't need to do that. Oh, you don't need to. Oh, well, you didn't do that. Oh, that's okay. It's no good me doing that. Yeah. It's no good. And as much as I love all our members, and I do, there's a time when I've got to go, actually, tough love. I don't like doing tough love on an email, but I had to, because I can't see this person at the moment. But I had to explain at the beginning, I was giving her tough love. And actually, tough love is yes, it's you. And any of you out there with a business that isn't working, if you learn anything, it's not working because of you. Yeah. Because if you blame your team, you employed your team. You chose your team. You selected your team. You keep your team. Okay, so your team are down to you. You can moan about them all you want, but they're down to you. Yeah. If there's anything else in your business that you moan about, it's down to you, because it's your business. It's not their business. Okay, if you run a business well, everyone buys into it. But you and I know that you have to find the right people. You have to pluck the right apples off the right trees to bring them into your orchard. Oh, I like that one, Jen. We should write that one down. No, you can't have it. It's mine. You have to
write it down to email it to you in a minute.
You have to pick the right tree and right apples off the right trees and bring them into your orchard. And that's what it's about. And because it's just like apples, you get a bad apple in that. All this analogy is getting even better, Jen. Because if you get a bad apple in a bowl of apples, it rots the rest. Yeah. Oh, yes. Just come up with a cracker, Jen.
365 members, that will be a slide in one of them.
I'll have that. I'll have that. Yeah, I like that. I remember using apples once before in something, but it wasn't as good as that one. I just came up with then, because I didn't get the rotten apple in the bowl. The rotten apple in the bowl's the winner. Yeah,
that was the bit.
But it's so true. We know that, don't we, Jim? We know that person becomes like the cancer in your salon. Seriously, they eat it away from the bottom. It's so true.
I heard a saying that stayed with me my entire business life, and I don't know where I heard it from. So sorry.
Must have been me.
Probably. Well, it's back again. it's the fish stinks from the head down. And it really made me realise that anything is
I
wrong.
wish that had been mine. It wasn't.
You
I like
can
that one.
Who's
I'm
writing
writing that one down, Jen.
And it just, anytime I come against a challenge in my business, I always think the fish stinks from the head down. Anytime there's a complaint inside of my business, the fish stinks from the head down. So if somebody is complaining about a member of my team, I haven't equipped them well enough to be able to give that service, that color, that cut, whatever it may be. And so it's never, I love people complaining because it feeds back to me what I'm not doing for my team so that I can better myself for them. So I just think always carry that with you. The fish stinks from the head down. It's such a powerful phrase.
Well, it is so true. And I love it, Jen. I'm going to nick it. I can see the graphic already. I'm going to give that to Chloe now Design. She'll do a wonderful graphic. In fact, might get it animated so it actually rots slowly in front of our eyes. Anyway,
don't you dare put my face on it. I can see that happening.
Ooh, that's an idea. I'll write that down. Jen's face. It'll have a pair of Louboutins on its feet at the back. Anyway. But you see what Jen was saying there, it starts right at the beginning because and why this is fresh in my mind, Jen, is because, you know, from that BB7, BB8, where we do a massive roundup of what's going on the course, and we were talking about an induction program, and we were talking about, you know, how salons invariably, and I bet everyone that's listening today has done it, they take on a stylist because they need a stylist. And they need a stylist because they've got too many clients. So what they do is or surplus of clients, because nobody's got too many clients ever. You can never have enough clients, and we can tell you what to do when you're full, because you should never be full. Going off track there. Yeah. So and we take on a stylist, then we put them on the floor, and then we wonder why they don't do what we want in our way, because we don't spend enough time inducting them. Mm-hmm. So we don't teach them our way of consultations. We don't teach them our software. We don't teach them our products. We don't teach them all the knowledge that they need to know to be a flag bearer for your brand. Because what they bring in is their old brand. Mm-hmm. They bring in their old salon and mindset. And if you've got a mindset that's there and their mindset is there, then they will do that mindset. Yeah. So the induction is so important. And you or I have talked about this a lot. You know, I don't believe, and you and I also know that the best salons that we work with, they will give a stylist at least a week of induction and mentoring and education. Because I don't understand how any stylist could go on my salon floor without having coaching in the products, in the way we operate, our culture, our consultation process, the colors that we use, the treatments that we use, the point of sale system that we use, the marketing tools that we use to build a stylist. And that's just, I've run out of fingers. That's, you know, and how can you, and you and I know that we're actually in our courses, we have a list, a long list. And when I go through it and I say to people, do you think anyone could go on the floor without knowing that and represent your brand? And they look at it stunned because they absolutely know that that's not what they do. They stick a stylist on the floor, and then every 10 minutes they go, oh, we don't do it that way. Oh, we don't do that. Oh, would you mind doing this? And then, but it's too late.
Yeah.
If you were working in any other business, in any other industry, you would have a proper, thorough induction program. And hairdressers live so hand to mouth that we say, oh, we can't do that because we can't afford it. Well, I don't believe you can afford not to do it. Yeah. I think anyone out there that doesn't do a proper induction program is foolish. I would rather, when I was in my salon, I would rather have taken myself off the floor for a week and one-to-one inducted that stylist than let them loose on my customers with the wrong brand values. Yeah. Absolutely. But
You've picked a good thing there, brand values, because I think a lot of the reason why some or most salons don't do such an in-depth induction is because they don't actually know what their brand values, core values and beliefs are anyway in the first place. And when they don't know what their core values and beliefs are, they firstly employ the wrong team member anyway, because they're just reacting. They're not pulling somebody in that's right for the team, right for the brand, has the same ethos. They're just, okay, I need a stylist. That one will do. She seems like she does good hair. And then we don't induct them properly and give over our brand values, our message, our mission. So this poor stylist then doesn't really know what bus she's even got onto. You know, she's come onto our bus and we're chugging along, but she doesn't even know where this bus is going. And nobody in the team knows where the bus is going, all because the brand values, the mission and the message has never actually been sat down and thought about. And that's nothing new. You know, we all get told this. Whenever we start a business or whatever business book we read, everyone says, go figure out your brand values, your mission and your message. And we just go, we'll do that next week because I need clients, I need money coming through the door, and we don't pay that the attention it deserves. And I think once you actually figure that bit out, you really start to hone in. That bus is on a track. Everyone getting on the bus are the right kind of clients, right kind of team members. Everyone gets on the bus and stays on the bus. Are you still there? Because my screen's gone blank.
Yeah, me or anybody else. I'm still here, yeah.
Good. Everyone who gets on the bus stays on the bus because they know who's driving the bus and where the bus is going. So it's really important to get that message, that mission, the core values and beliefs really nailed down inside of your business so that you can grow in the right direction and you're not kind of just doing this. Do you agree, Ken?
You see, I do, but you see, that's something. There will be some people listening to us today that don't know what you're talking about, Jane, because their only mission was to open a salon and do haircuts.
Yeah.
Now there's was it 45,000 people in this country currently have opened salons because they want to do haircuts. So if you want to be one in 45,000, fine. But if you want to be one of the elite 4,000 at the top that are making what you and I know and believe to be a decent salary, then you've got to understand what makes you part of that 4,000 that are sitting there at the top of that 45,000 earning, you know, the sort of numbers that you should be earning. Now, if you don't understand what makes that difference, then you don't understand what brand values are. You just cutting hair. It's a bit like when Jen talks about who's your customer, you know, who's your client. And those of you that work with Jen will know that we talk about who's a Sue, because in Jen's case, she uses Sue. Sue did actually exist. And I've heard about Sue. I'm going to meet Sue one day. But anyway, and then the name doesn't matter. It could be who's your Sally, it doesn't matter. But unless you understand who you're actually selling to. Now, if you went to talk to any large brand, clothing manufacturers in particular, and perfume companies and whatever, let's take Chanel. Let's take Chanel because you and I can absolutely figure that one out. Who does Chanel sell to? They don't sell to the they don't sell to the 15-year-old, do they? They don't sell to the 20-year-old who's just struggling to earn some money. That person may buy Chanel, but the Chanel was bought by the 40-year-old mother. Okay, so you've got to think, who does Chanel market to? And you look at all the marketing, and even now when they try and do these funky ones and trendy ones, the models are upmarket, quality dressed. You know, they don't aim at the same market that Primark do. Now, there's nothing wrong with aiming at the Primark market, but if Primark are selling, and I don't know if you can, but you can probably go, because I know you can go into Marks and Spencer's and they do fragrances, so you could probably go into Primark and they do fragrances. Now, the thing is, Primark have got to sell 10 bottles of theirs to 1 bottle of Chanel. So it's, what do you want to do? Do you want to be in the mass market or the shall we say, the exclusive upper market? And neither's right and neither's wrong. You can be wherever you want, but if you don't know where you are, you get lost. And we've seen that happen. We've seen that happen to people like M&S, got lost. We've seen it happen to supermarkets, have got lost, because they're here, and then Audi came along, and suddenly, you know, Waitrose suddenly tried to be Audi. And then all the Waitrose customers went, well, we don't want that because we like going to Waitrose. And we know it costs us more, but that's what we like, because there's a perceived value to the fact that they're paying more for what they perceive to be a quality good. Now, Waitrose stuff has got to be good, just like M&S Finest has got to be good. Otherwise, you can't get into that market. You just try and be everything to everybody. You can't do it. When I first joined 365, and this was before you joined, Jen, but you will have heard, we used to say to sales, be the most expensive and the cheapest in your town. So cover everybody. And I think, I don't know, about 4 or 5 years ago, I made the decision that we were going to drop that strategy. Absolutely drop that strategy, because the bottom's just going like this.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, hold on, I don't mind being there, but I don't want to be there because that's too tricky. And actually, if you're all down here, you end up pulling this down. So your high goes there because you can't have too much of a gap. So to try and sell haircuts for 20 quid and 90 quid is impossible. And yet it's what we used to say in 365 before the market changed. And you have to realize that markets change.
Yeah.
So you can't carry on doing the same thing that you did 5, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 1 year ago. You can't do the same stuff now. Look at us now. You know, last year we'd never done a meeting like this. You'd never heard of StreamYard. We'd never used any of this stuff. True?
True.
And now you and I are, this is just what we do. And that's in a year. And if you think your market, your customer market hasn't changed in that year, you are so naive.
Yeah.
The market you had before that first lockdown in January, February, March is so different when you come out of it now. So different. And you need to understand where you want to be.
Yeah. They've changed what they want. They've changed the way they buy. They've changed the way they work for you. Like, the whole world changed and evolved. And I hate using the word, but everyone pivoted. And those that haven't pivoted, you know, they are experiencing quietness. They're experiencing, like, November is normally our lowest. I mean, it most certainly is for me. And I think it is pretty much blanket coverage throughout the industry. One of our lowest points.
Yeah.
Our trough. Our peak, our trough in the marketplace. However, we were taking more money than we've ever taken because we pivoted with the market and how it moved. We market ourselves differently. We give different things. We've added new team members in to give diversity. We've realized that our actual clients, some of them haven't been and visited us since we haven't had a gentleman working in our salon, because some women just love guys cutting hair.
Yeah, true.
Gent in. And we've really changed the way that Obsessions focuses. You know, we were unapologetic about putting our prices up. And in fact, they're going to actually kill me because my prices go up in April and November every year. Both lockdowns, they will have gone up. And we were unapologetic of that because, you know what, we focus so hard on our education. We use top quality products. We've always done one service, so no stylist is ever seeing another client in between. You pay for our time and undivided attention. So, you know, and then adding on that surcharge as well. Nobody even said a word, because they understand the value of coming to us. Now, we had a few, and I'm not going to lie about this, we had a few clients that then didn't see the worth within us and didn't want to continue with us after the first initial appointment, seeing how much it had risen. And that's caused us to kind of regroup, come back and think, okay, not putting my price down because we are worth it, but how can we add more value into the experience that they get within Obsessions? And actually, we've come up with some amazing ideas with the team, and we're just waiting for a little kind of normality to sift back into place, which I believe it will do soon. before we kind of bring that out into our obsession. But I think actually reevaluating and looking at the feedback that you get from, whether it be a client saying actually it's too expensive, I don't want to come anymore, or whether it be a complaint about some haircuts or a color, or whether it be a stylist that's unhappy, or whatever the challenge is. I think one of the things that I'm getting out of today's conversation with Ken is really making sure that we really take stock of ourselves and see where we can raise our game with the feedback that we're given. I think sometimes we get this feedback and it puts us in a bit of a negative motion, and we just think, oh, it's just one person that just doesn't like our price or doesn't like our haircut. It's fine. Can't keep everyone 100% of the people 100% happy 100% of the time. But we don't act on it. And that's where I think a lot of businesses fall down. They're actually taking action and taking stock of what we've just found out about ourselves.
Well, this price thing that you were talking about, it's so true. People go, oh, well, someone complained about the price. Of course, someone will complain about the price. There's always someone that will complain about the price. That doesn't mean you need to reduce it. If I went into the Rolls-Royce showroom, let's not pick Rolls-Royce because you'll go, well, that's stupid. If I go into a BMW showroom, right, a BMW showroom, and I say to them, that's too expensive, they won't go, well, we will reduce the price. They will bundle something in, right? So they'll go, oh, we'll give you servicing, or we'll give you, free metallic paint, or we'll give you an upgrade for leather, or we'll do this, this, and this. And you think there's not, because, okay, we all know that when you buy cars, there's a little bit, because there's a fake bit that they build in that the dealer can chop off. And I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is when you go beyond that, when you get to the price that is the bottom, and you go, oh, that's no good, I'm still want less than that. They don't reduce it any further. They go, well, what we would do is add value to our. So it's like, the last car, well, I don't buy cars, I contract hire, but Jane buys. And the last time she bought, she got 5 years servicing, she got something else in. And you just think this is, we must not knee-jerk because one person, and sometimes a very vocal person, says you're too expensive. Because for everyone that says you're too expensive, for everyone that says a BMW is too expensive, there's thousands of people out there that buy the brand. And if you think about it, and what we've seen in the past few years, certainly, and I'll stick with the car market, you look at the number of Audis, BMWs, and Mercs that are on the road these days compared to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember having my first ever Mercedes, and I thought I was the king on the planet. My son said my driving was rubbish because I just used to drive around thinking, get out of my way, here I come in my silver Mercedes, okay? And it was automatic, so I didn't even have to, I just swarmed around. But now I would just be one in a million, because the world has gone, do you know what? We're prepared to pay for quality. Yeah. Now, what those brands now have got to do, because the Japanese have gone, well, we can do that, we can do that, we can do that. And now what we'll do is our quality is as good as yours, and we give more than you.
Yeah.
So it's like, some of the cars you can buy, Jane's got a Kia, and it's built beautifully. It's got every extra onto the planet, so someone else has got to go, well, hold on, they're doing this, and then now actually those brands, now they've sneaked their prices up.
Yeah.
So you go and buy those brands, and they're that I drive a Skoda, but that Skoda was 30k, and everyone goes, what, you got a Skoda? And I go, yeah, but come and have a look what I've got. And so we've got to make sure that we give the value for money, because you can charge the price. And if people say, well, they're not prepared to pay your price, it's because you're not worth it. And worth isn't to do with price. We've all bought one of these that was rubbish. And we bought it cheap. You buy a watch or anything you buy, and it's rubbish. And you save money, but you have to go and buy another one in a few weeks.
Yeah.
We go, oh, do you know what? I'm going to spend more. There's more. It's like, let's go back to the other analogy, the perfumes. You know what I wear, and I know what you wear, and we wear them because they're lovely and they reward us, but we also wear them, let's be honest, because they last.
Yeah. So
you and I put the fragrances that we wear on at the beginning of the day, and it's still there at the end of the day. Whereas you
wear that fragrance because you like me saying to you, oh, you smell lush.
No, people come out and go, there's Tracy Gascoigne, she always just goes to all her team, just go and smell Ken. It's so nice. So all her team have to come and smell me. It's weird. Anyway, the point is, when you're busy like us and we're working all day, you don't want to have to keep putting these things on. So I can buy something else. And I've tried brands and I've tried other brands and I go, well, do you know what? That doesn't work on my skin because, you know, some fragrances do and don't. But also by lunchtime, that's gone.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use twice as much as that as the one I use. And this is what it's about. It's about where's the value? What's the value? And decide where you want to be in the marketplace.
I think one of the things that I see in salons so often, we're seeing like the car factories and everybody doing this, and I see salons doing this.
Yeah.
Like the salon down the road's charging 30 quid, so now I need to charge 27. It's like crazy.
Talking about your pricing, Jen, because you said about sorry, waving a pen around. You said I have to wave something. You know I do. My arms normally go all over the place.
Oh, right.
I have to be careful now when I'm coaching on screen because my arms are like this, but no one can see them. So I have to go like this. Because you know how I work. The thing about the pricing is, and this is really important for anyone that's listening, during lockdown, even though some of your costs don't seem to have gone up, you know, there's bits you're not paying at the moment and all this sort of stuff. You built up massive debts, so let's not forget about this. Some salons out there have got massive debts that will cripple them. So if they haven't increased their prices to be able to pay for those debts when they come back in, they'll be in trouble. But also, product costs will go up, other things will go up. You and I know that although my rent has not gone up for 3 years, it's going to go up in 2 years' time. So I have to factor in an annual increase into my prices so that when that rent increase comes, I'm ready for it. Now, at the moment, people are so scared of doing that when these extra costs come, they'll be going, whoa, trying to get up there. So you can't let go of your normal business thinking. I guarantee you next year you will see some of your manufacturers raise their prices. I guarantee those of you that have got rent increases on the horizon, you will still get them.
Yeah. Because
we're just in this weird time. So if you're not factoring that in, if you're thinking I can't increase, I can't, you are going to be when it comes, and you're going to be in trouble. You saw, Jen, that break even that I did where I factored in a loan repayment and how much extra I factored in the loan repayment, and to factor in the loan repayment and the PPE costs, and it was on a salon of about, I know, during about $5,000. They had to increase their sales by something like $3,000 a week just to cover those extra payments. Because if you've got a loan payment coming up that you're going to have to pay back £300 a month, say, or £300 a week, say, because it will be those sort of numbers, you haven't got to generate another £300 a week. You probably got to generate another £3,000 a week, because that repayment is coming out of net profit. And any of you there sitting listening going, what's he talking about? It's the problem. You need to find out what we're talking about, because you can't just say, well, I've got to do another 200 quid. It's like when I see a salon, that I hear a salon go, well, I've got this stylist and she's covering herself. And I say, what do you mean covering yourself? And you go, well, I'll pay her 500 quid and she takes 500 quid. It's not covering herself.
No,
it's not even washing her face, and yet people think it is. But if some of this is resonating in your head, then you're where Jen was those years ago, and you're where I was all those years ago. Get help.
Yes.
Get help to understand it.
And where can they get help from, Ken?
365hair.com. Info at 365hair.com. Blatant plug.
Blatant plug. I'm going to stick Ken's email address in the comments for you all, so that if any of you do have any questions, do reach out to him. We would love to see you inside 365. It's not just an education centre, excuse me, where you go and get education. It's a whole community, and you'll be able to see who's 365 in this group, because they all talk to each other and everybody's there to help each other. And we do a lot, I mean, even down to like bi-weekly Zooms just to check in, see how everybody is. We do a lot as a club. And I think as a when I was going through it as a delegate and I was doing the BBs, which are business builders, the sessions, the learning, the implementation, I felt at the beginning very lonely, like I was the only salon owner in this world with this huge problem, and how could I have been so stupid, and how did I not understand how to do this stuff? Why does everyone else get it and I don't? And actually what I realized when I started making friends and getting involved within 365 is that I wasn't stupid. I wasn't naive. I just didn't know what I didn't know. And now I was learning those things. All of a sudden, my life was leveling up on a like monthly, weekly, daily basis. And things were starting to happen for me. And I was making friends that were there to support me through this journey. And the guys, I mean, I was very, very fortunate. I went through all 8 BBs in the same group. And we're all still really good friends today. And we all still help each other. And we all still give a little hello, how are you? And we all see each other in the club as well, which is just such amazing support, especially when we're going through something like this. Nobody knows.
We have a closed Facebook page. We have an open one for everybody, but we have a closed one for members only. And I have been amazed how the bond amongst the members, talking to each other and helping each other, and if they've got a question they ask it and someone else answers it or we answer it, and just that whole community. I think our community actually has got stronger, Jen, during this time, because we're now reaching people that we don't see that often because they're miles away. I'm coaching people in Scotland now that I wouldn't have coached before because they couldn't come down.
Yeah.
And we've got members in Scotland that I hadn't seen for years. They've stayed in touch and they're still members, but now I'm seeing them on a regular basis, and I'm seeing their faces, and we're communicating. So I actually think there's something really good has come out of this, and we've learned so much during these tough times that we're still in. How if you're part of a community, it really helps us, because you and I have talked about this, Jen. We sit here sometimes talking to our computers and think, it's just bonkers. But then you get a message, and then, you do something or you say something, and someone goes, "Oh no, Andrew, mate, you know Andrew, mate, don't you? Little Andrew, right? Okay, he's been a member for years. Goes round and round the program, loves it, round and round. Goes through the program, then goes back to the beginning, goes through it again, goes back to the beginning." He hadn't logged onto our Facebook page. And because he's never used Facebook, he's never used it, and I had to phone him up and talk him through how to get Facebook, sign on. He's even more of a IT numpty than I am, Jen, and do you know what he said? He sent me a message and said, I was actually thinking of giving up. He said, but now I'm back in this, there's no way I'm giving up. There's no way. It's just, he brought a tear to my eye. And I said, Andrew, just, where we are. And he goes, yeah, but I hadn't seen this. I hadn't logged on and I didn't know. And so he gets an email saying about something, and he doesn't know how to join Zoom. He doesn't know how to join Facebook. He doesn't know how to do these things. And we forget that there are people that are like that.
Yeah.
Because he's not our youngest member, but he's a lovely guy and he runs a beautiful little salon. It's fab.
Yeah.
And people have come together during this, and they will grow stronger. But don't think we're through this. We are so not through this.
No, I agree. Oh, that's made me so happy. When I logged on to Zoom the other day and saw Andrew's face, I was like,
"Whoa!" Of course, I don't think that when I don't see someone or haven't heard from someone for a while, I think, they're just off the radar. It doesn't cross my mind that maybe they don't know how to log in. Maybe they haven't never used Facebook. We assume, let's be honest, Jen, with what you do and what I do, and well, particularly what you do, we assume that everyone uses Facebook and they'll use Instagram. You know that I don't use Instagram, or very little, because actually the next Instagram course you do for us, I'm going to sit on, because I'm the generation that doesn't use it. Yeah, I use Facebook, but I don't use Instagram. And I realized that I've got to start using it. So I'm going to be a pupil. You're never too old to learn.
Are you going to learn today? Are you going to be in today?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to sit all through today's, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Excellent.
Because it's fascinating. If any of you are members of 365 and you're on Jen's course this afternoon and it's sold out, so you can't get on it, you can beg, borrow, steal, but you ain't getting on it. It's sold out. But if you're on our course this afternoon, I've seen the presentation. I'm excited. It is so good because Jen and I talk about what we want in these things beforehand. So I go, well, I'd like people to, and then she puts it into all the language that works because I don't know that stuff. And I'm looking at it and I go, yeah, that's what I want. Yeah. So no, I'm every minute, Jen, me this afternoon. I'm there.
Excellent. Wear something comfortable.
I'm not going to change. You think I'm going to change? This is 2 weeks. This will stay on.
No, it's not. You did news at Ken the other day, and he was not wearing that shirt.
You know what? I have to be careful. Sometimes I think, oh, when did I last wear that on a? You know, because people want these things, don't they?
And I actually get changed about 3 times a day. Like,
no, it's terrible. I'm going to have to go and change now, aren't I, Jen?
Yeah, go and put something comfortable on. So we're going to raise the vibration, get the energy flowing through everybody, because otherwise you're all just going to sit there.
Listen, we've only got 2 hours this afternoon.
It's going to be a good 2 hours. That's all I'm going to say. Right, Ken, thank you so much. We're going to let you go because I think we've both got some stuff to do.
Yeah.
All of our 365 members that are on the sold out social media calls this afternoon, the Christmas special edition, helping you to raise the money that you've got coming in the salon, raise your profile, raise your position in the industry. We will see you at 1 o'clock. As you can tell, I am super excited about bringing this to you guys. So I better go get pumped up and ready myself. Ken, thank you so much for all your time.
I shall see you in a couple of hours.
Yeah. Will do. Take that care. Bye-bye. Bye.